Hello ladies and gents, welcome back to the channel. Good to see you here. It's been a while since I did a last proper video. I've been doing some streaming recently, and this evening I thought instead of doing a stream I will do this without a live audience, just so I can focus my attention more on what I'm doing. Today we're going to be flying the A2A Comanche 250. This livery that you see before you is the livery that I did in my previous Comanche 250 video, which unfortunately was a very long time ago. I was looking at my channel, and it's actually almost 2 years to the day since I took this aircraft out and featured it on the channel, which I'm a bit ashamed about, but there we are. Life is life. And there have been many things happening since the Comanche was released, but it's still a fantastic product. And if you want to get somewhere in the virtual skies a little bit quicker than the trainer aircraft, the Cessna 172 and the Comanche or the Cherokee 180, this is your ticket. This is a bit more of a beast. It's got a bit more of a grunt behind the engine. It can fly a bit higher. It can fly a bit faster. It cruises faster, and just it's more of an all-round, longer-range general aviation aircraft than A2A aircraft, A2A simulation's other add-ons. This aircraft I featured on the sim previously. The videos I did when this first was released, I did a ferry flight across from Nuuk in Greenland down to Norway. That was a lot of fun. I should do one of those ferry flights again. But today we're going to be flying a regional flight within the UK in the real world time, which is currently, let me just make sure that my time is being synced with my simulator. It is currently 8 o'clock. Connect and set. Yeah, okay, so that's going to reload, and it's going to keep the current time synced. Sorry about that. I should have done that before I started the stream, started the video. But anyway, so we're going to be flying, while that's loading, we're going to be flying from Cardiff. We have some ATC online at Cardiff this evening, which is quite rare, which is why I decided to choose Cardiff. And we have in nearby Bristol a lot of general aviation aircraft. Bristol is almost fully staffed as well. There's a lot of general aviation aircraft coming over in this direction. So I thought it would be interesting, as I was going outbound, to have a little bit of traffic coming inbound. So I'm going to be flying from Cardiff in southern Wales up to Gloucester, and from Gloucester across to the Daventry VOR, and from Daventry VOR thence towards Cambridge. I've just recently got some UK 2000 General Aviation Airfield packet, I think it's volume 2, which introduces a ton of general aviation airfields in the Midlands, and Cambridge is one of them, so we're going to go and see what that looks like today. Excuse me. We're not flying with the GTN 750 avionics suite this evening, because that would make it a bit too easy for us. We're going to be flying with traditional controls, and we're going to be tracking outbound. We're going to be tracking the NDB outbound, and then coming into Gloucester. We're going to be tracking the Gloucester NDB, and then we're going to be using the radial for Daventry, and then we're going to be using the NDB to track to Cambridge. So it's going to test my skill in flying an accurate track, but using NDBs as opposed to radials or VORs. So that's going to be interesting. So any wind component is going to start trying to push me off course. I'm going to have to try to detect that wind component and correct for it. And there's a technique that they do to do that. So now that my real world time is synced with the simulator, let's go into the aircraft here and get things set up. I need some power, so let's just unlock the aircraft first. Let's just put my feet on the rudder pedals. Rudder pedals are nice and cozy. Let's go down and first start up the so the battery master switch is on. I probably should start the aircraft fairly soon without, I don't want to run the battery down. Pitot heat, rotating beacon strobe, lights, all as set and required. I'm going to turn on the avionics because I want to try to get ATIS and clearance before I start my engine. Because characteristically in these videos, let's just empty some of my ash into this tray. So usually I always start the videos with the engine already fired up and running and set to go. Today we're going to be doing it differently. We're going to be doing a cold start. So it probably won't work in true Mantok fashion, but there we go. So for EGFF approach and departure is on. That's what we're going to be using. They don't have the tower, so it's just going to be Cardiff approach. And we're going to be using 132.47. That is our frequency. 134. Oh, was it 132.47? I think it was 130. Yes, that's correct. 132.47.
E2, threshold QFE 1025, acknowledge receipt of information, hotel, and advise aircraft on first contact. Cardiff, information, hotel, time 1920, runway news 30, surface wind 260, 10 knots, visibility 400 meters, runway visual range, runway 30, currently 1400 meters, fog broken 200 feet, overcast 1700 feet, temperature +9, dew point +9, QNH 1032, threshold QFE 1025, acknowledge receipt of information, hotel, and
Okay, so basically the ATIS is telling us that we've got information hotel. The active runway is runway 30 with a QNH of 1032. So let's just make sure that the QNH is set by pressing B, which is it automatically sets that. So of course without the Flight 1 Garmin suite, we have an ADF needle, and this is what we're going to be using to track the... Oh no, actually, sorry. Where are you? Where are you? Come on. No, yes, it is there. That is the ADF course selector. Just refreshing myself with the controls. Yes, okay. And of course, we will then put our ADF frequencies. So for instance, let's go our first... let's go Cardiff as 3885. So if we go put if we go put 3885, or actually no, it's only going to give us, so if we just right click and say set NDB frequency on ADF radio, like so, we go back and then flip that across. Okay, the needle doesn't move now because it's probably because we're on the ground, but yeah, that should move. Okay, so we've got the ATIS, information hotel. Our next frequency is going to be Cardiff approach, which is 125.85. So let's go put that in. 125.85.
2,000 feet tower.
Okay. Let's just go see on VATSIM what he's got going on. Okay, there is myself, and actually no, he's just got aircraft outbound. Okay. No, that's inbound. Yes. Okay. He's only got one aircraft inbound. It's a Beech 1900 or B190L. I'm not quite sure what that is. Okay. Anyway, so it's pretty it's pretty quiet right now on the frequency. So let's take pitot covers off, tie down wheel chocks.
Oscar Echo Charlie, turn right into 80 degrees per hour, approach from me, 30. Turn right 80 degrees, clear time of approach runway 30, Oscar Echo Charlie.
Oh, it's so hard to hear him even though everything's set up correctly. Okay. Okay, so we are IFR clearance to Cambridge with information hotel QNH 1013. Aircraft type is a Piper Comanche. So first we're going to do a cold call, make sure that he can hear us properly. So Cardiff approach, good evening, Golf Kilo Sierra Victor Bravo.
Golf 2, Sierra Victor Bravo, Cardiff, good evening.
Cardiff approach Golf Kilo Sierra Victor Bravo with information hotel requesting IFR clearance to Cambridge, QNH 1032.
Golf Victor Bravo, to Cambridge, after departure, fly on the heading, climbing to altitude 6,000 feet, and then it'll be a right turn on track to Gloucester in the squawk 6003.
That is after departure, fly runway heading, climb 6,000 feet, and then track to the Gloucester NDB, squawk 6073, Golf Victor Bravo.
Golf Victor Bravo, squawk 6003.
6003 on the squawk for Golf Victor Bravo.
Golf Victor Bravo, correct.
Okay, fantastic. Right, so that is climb runway heading, climb 6,000 feet. Let's just put 6,000. We don't have one of those. Yes, yes. It's been a while since I've flown one of these. And then right, we need some light to shed upon this, and the floodlight just isn't doing it right now for us. Cockpit floodlighting. Is there any other floodlighting we have at our fingertips? Are we sure we're using all the lights we possibly can? Come on now. Oh, actually. Oh, dynamic lighting. Oh, well, it's not actually on. Why is it not on? Spotlight. How do we turn the spot? Oh. Is that? Oh. No, that's the red light. I want the spotlight. Let's actually just spend a little bit of time. Okay, that's the floodlight. Unfortunately, that's really not going to be as bright as I want it to be. So how do we turn the floodlight on? Up until now, this is... That's what the light switch is, apparently. That's not actually doing anything. Okay, I don't want to spend too much time playing around with this. I would rather get the engine started up so that I'm not wasting the battery. Okay, so let's just put the squawk in while we're about it. 6003, and let's just put that on mode alt. Okay, we now, he's given us that clearance. We're pretty much good to go. Now I want my pushback and startup. Let's just double check where I actually am. I am on well, that's a good question. Where am I actually? Let's just double check. Okay, so from here, there. Okay, yeah. So we are on ramp 0. No, we're on 15. Okay, ramp 15. So gate 15, and from here, we will then be taxing. Okay, gate 15. We'll probably be taxing alpha to hold alpha 2 or alpha 1, depending on what he asks or gives us. Okay, so with that, let's go ask for push and start. Let's just make sure that we have enough fuel first. Thank you, A2A Simulations, for giving us a very handy fuel manager. I'm currently flying this aircraft across the world, so that's why when I started up the sim, it had so little fuel in it, because I was burning it low getting into a Middle Eastern airport. Okay, so Cardiff approach, Golf Victor Bravo requesting push and start gate 15.
Golf Victor Bravo push and the start approved.
Start up and push approved, Golf Victor Bravo, thanks. Okay, so he's given us clearance to start les engines. Right, so throttle and mixture. I'm going to pump the fuel. Okay, so we've got a little bit of fuel going on there. What I now need to do is put the ignition to both, and then make sure that not the pitot heat, but the do we have rotating beacon? Thank you. There we go. That's what I was looking for.
Oscar Echo Charlie, welcome to Cardiff. Run right on Bravo, and it will stand at 1-2.
Okay, so
Turn around on Bravo.
crank the throttle.
Oscar Echo Charlie, thank you.
And I forgot to prime the engine. Seriously? You sure that I didn't just... Do I not have like a dead engine? Okay, the starter. That's probably what it is going to be. Yeah. Okay, at this point, auto start. Okay, I have a feeling it was related to the fact that I didn't... Straplet. Yeah, I have a feeling it's because I didn't prime it first properly. Okay.
Cardiff radar, easy, climbing through by level 800, 804 100.
There you go, that's the instrument light that I was
ED
looking for.
7683 Foxtrot, Cardiff radar, good evening, score Highland, continue climb flight level 1.
That's good.
50.
Okay.
H-Block, I did climbing flight level 150, Foxtrot.
That's a very quiet engine. Why don't I have any external engine noises? Something's going fishy there.
Mr. Joe Bravo Charlie, we're at shutting down. Thank you very much for your service and good night. Oscar Echo Charlie, no problem. Thanks for flying. See you again. Bye-bye.
Okay, let's call that turnaround. And I have absolutely no engine noises. Let's just go to sound for a second. Okay. That's probably what it was. There you go. Okay. So let's just... Okay. Golf Victor Bravo, ready for taxi.
Golf Victor Bravo, taxi left on Alpha. Can you depart from Delta, or do you require a bit more length?
Delta should be fine, thanks, Golf Victor Bravo.
Golf Victor Bravo, Roger, taxi Alpha, hold Delta.
Taxi Alpha, hold Delta, Golf Victor Bravo. Cool, sorted. He's happy, I'm happy. A little bit of a challenge there. So let's just start rolling forwards. And let's think about our first NDB. Let's think about this in advance. We've got 388 in, but that's not what we're going to be tracking to. We're going to be tracking to 331. So let's just start twiddling around while we've got the time.
EV7 6 Foxtrot, contact London Control 126.05, bye-bye. Confirm it's at 126.075.
Yeah, there you go. Well, let's just...
Okay, just want to make sure.
Let's watch the active to begin with.
You're welcome, bye-bye.
I think I'm taxiing in completely the wrong place, but it's this weird... Yeah, I just taxied across completely the wrong space, but never mind. Yeah, right, I'm going to turn left here. I should really actually use my track IR, but I've already started up, so that's okay. Next time. Okay, so he said track runway heading, and our runway heading is 298. So let's just put that 299, 298. Let's put that 298 as well. Okay. Right, so from here, let's just make sure that we don't miss our delta turnoff, which is coming up on our right-hand side. Indeed. And what I will do, folks, is I will cut out some of the cruise just so the video is a little easier for you to watch in terms of length. Don't need to be sitting here making you watch through 45 minutes of cruising in inky blackness. There's my delta turn, and I'll give him a call in a second, and I've got to think about my strobe light as well before crossing the instrument hold line. And the instrument hold line is right there in the murkiness. Golf Victor Bravo, Delta.
Golf Victor Bravo, runway 30, clear for takeoff, surface wind 260 degrees, 11 knots.
Clear takeoff runway 30, Golf Victor Bravo. Okay, as we cross the hold line, we put the strobe light on, we've got landing lights on, correct. Our fuel pump, I believe, goes on for takeoff. Make sure mixture is rich. It is. And yeah, pitot heat's on, rotating beacons on. We're good to go. Let's just double check with our side notes on the taxi, park brake release, radio ATIS brakes, test on initial roll. Let's test the brakes. Yep, transponder is on alt. Altimeter is set. Let's go squawk mode Charlie on VATSPI or VATSIM as well. Heading indicator is set. Landing gear indicator is green. Let's go run up. I didn't do a run up, but we're good. We're good. Okay, mixture is set. Throttle 2000 RPM. Okay, before takeoff checklist. Controls free and correct. Fuel selector is desired tank. Let's just go set that before we take off. There is the center line right there. Let's just turn on to center line and hold brakes for a second. Okay, so fuel selectors on the desired tank. They are on main tanks. Carb heat is off. Carburetor heat level is off. Mixture is rich. Prop is set. Engine gauges check. Let's just check that they're in the green. Cylinder head temperature is good. Exhaust gas temperature is good. Yep. Yep. Pretty much good to go. Trim tab is neutral. Trim tab's up on the roof, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's pretty much neutral. Flaps are set. We're going to have one notch of flaps. Doors are latched. Okay. 75% power. Engine sounds choppy. And full power. Engine is chopping. That's interesting.
Cardiff, good evening, line 9 Tango Delta is climbing runway 27X, mile 1 X-ray departure. Currently on Henry 273, climbing 3,000 feet.
Gear coming up.
Line 9 Tango Delta, good evening, Cardiff, now squawk ident, climb flight level 150. Squawk ident, climb 150, line 9 Tango Delta.
Speed coming down. RPM coming down. And now we are going to set heading and start trimming. And we trim this beast simply, well, we climb in this beast simply by trimming. So let's just set the trim properly. Like so. We could actually have a little bit more RPM in the climb. Let's do that. A little bit more manifold pressure. It should all be good. Okay, so he said climb 6,000 feet, which is what we're doing. But we're still flying runway heading, so I'm sure as approach he will hand us off. Well, no, he won't hand us off, sorry. He will, but he will tell us to resume our navigation soon. Let's just make sure that we go to the next controller that he hands us off to, which is going to be 12607. So let's have that ready for him. Okay, good stuff. Flying runway heading, climbing steadily through 2,000 feet now. Let's bring our NDB in. Our NDB is currently bearing 090, so that's going to be our heading as soon as he gives us one to turn. Well, 090 from our current position, which is... This is where NDB...
Victor Bravo, you can wait to know resume direct to Gloucester NDB.
Resume own navigation to Gloucester NDB, thanks Golf Victor Bravo. Okay, so he's given us that. We're going to make a right-hand turn 90 degrees, which is going to be about 306. Okay, that's 29. That's okay, and because we are managing the altitude ourselves, we have to make sure that we don't mess that up in the turn. And let's just keep watching. Oh no, actually that's completely wrong. I thought that that was tracking our but it's not. We're not even in range of it yet. Okay. NDB range, please. Okay, yeah. Right, so what we need to do is we need to go back to the Cardiff, and let's track pretty much direct east, almost direct east. Let's go 080, so we're almost coming back on ourselves, and let's make sure we don't mess up that rate of ascent. That's where we want to be. Okay, so now we're tracking properly. Now we're tracking Cardiff, outbound on Cardiff ADF. What we want to do is we want to be heading 059 with the Cardiff NDB pointing directly behind us. So we come over here to here. We want to go 059. Okay, so basically we want to be heading 059 but with the needle behind us. So we have to wait until that swings around, and as that swings around we will know that we'll get onto that that radial. Oh, not. I'm going to sit here and call it a radial all day and all night long, folks. It's going to just be one of those problems of mine. Okay, so we can keep our landing lights. Well, actually, let's just take our landing lights off at this point. And we're going to go 059 on the ADF needle. Well, I'm going to call it an ADF needle because it's yellow, but you know what I mean. Okay, so Cardiff is still off to our right hand side, and that's slowly coming round. And basically what we're going to do is wait until that comes around to dead behind us. Let's just move my view over to the right hand side because that makes it a bit easier. And of course, as soon as we hit 6,000 feet, we're going to go Alt Engage, Autopilot Altitude Hold Switch, you see, and that's going to take another thing off our mind. But for now, we've got 1,500 feet to go. We're continuing on this course, and we're coming around. See, as you can see right there, and it's probably we'll get to about here when we make that turn. But until then, no, actually, what we want to do, let's see, what we want to do is go 080. Okay, so that is our heading right now, 080, and it is, the bearing is 125. Over here. So at the bearing of 125 we need to wait until that gets to about 239. We need to wait until that needle gets to about 239 and we know we're on track. Roughly there. And then we know we're on track. The way I know that, it's kind of harder to explain. It's harder to explain than just to say. Just wait until I hit 6,000 and then capture 6,000. Then I'll flatten out into the cruise and then we'll talk about it as it happens. Because there's certain things we know. And using that knowledge and looking at the instruments, we can calculate and deduct and say, okay, right, this is where we are and this is where we need to be. Okay, just coming up about 450 feet left to go before cruise. I'm going to pull the power back once we hit cruise. Climbing about 500 feet per minute, which is fine. And getting there, and there. Right, it's going to beep at us because it wants us to change. Yeah, wants us to. Okay, I'm going to pull back to 75% power. Why is my manifold pressure so bad? Is it probably because I need to do some carb icing? Why is the manifold pressure so bad? Yeah, it's probably icing. See what temperature it is outside. 7 degrees outside. There shouldn't be any icing. What's going on? Anyway, bearing is almost where we want it to be, and that is reflected by us almost being on course. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm now going to turn to 259. I'm I'm going to turn. Let's pull back. Yes, it was carb icing. Now my manifold pressure is okay. I'm going to put that back to where it was. It was carb icing. Okay, now because I'm at 6,000 feet, I'm going to lean out. It's about 75% as well. And continue to trim down because it's beeping at me. Okay. Shush, 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 shush. You silly thing. Now you made me trim nose down so much that... Silly thing. Okay, right, it's going to just look after itself now. Okay, so we are tracking directly outbound on that NDB frequency. We have our current heading set to 5.7, and that's about, well, yeah, it was, but now let's set that back to 5.7. Oh, come on, come on. .59 is roughly where we want to be. 5.8, 5.9. Okay, so we are currently tracking out now. And now let's bring in a DME. So you can see we're pretty much on track. Let's go to the DME for Gloucester and get a range. And the DME is going to be, well, the frequency for it is 115.55. So let's put 115.55 in our nav1. .115.55. And in putting 115.55 in the nav, I think there's a button. Golf Victor Bravo, go ahead.
Golf Victor Bravo, what service do you require outside of control airspace?
Just a basic service for Golf Victor Bravo.
Golf Victor Bravo, roger.
Okay, that's it. Right. Distance.
Hi there, 96 Alpha Lima, London control will be closing in a couple of minutes, so over to you, Unicom 123.8. Have a good flight, bye.
Comanche 96 Alpha Lima, thanks very much for the lovely AC, and Merry Christmas, bye-bye.
Okay.
You're welcome, thanks for flying in. Cheers.
That's not the frequency then. Surely that should be a free... Gloucester DME. Surely I should get a range from that. 115.55. Maybe it is actually... If I do that... Yeah, okay. That's probably... Yeah, 31 nautical miles and inbound. Okay, that's the right way to do it. And it just wants me to keep trimming down. Okay, so at my current heading, I am 5.9. 5.9. And the needle isn't... Let's see, the needle... This bearing is 1 degree off, okay? That's telling me that I'm not...
Alpha Victor Bravo 1 is closing in 2 minutes, so it will be Unicom 122.8 for yourself, Squawk 7000, see you again, bye-bye.
Over to Unicom 122.8 and Squawk 7000 for Golf Victor Bravo. Thank you very much, good evening. Okay, so rather than...
You're welcome, bye-bye.
Rather than go over to London Control, There we go, and squawk 7,000. Done. Right. So no one's going to really bother us from now on, which is may not actually be a bad thing. So we've got a distance readout to Gloucester, so we're tracking inbound to Gloucester, and we've also got a direct heading to Gloucester. So on our present course, which is our true course, which is that we've set, we want to hold it. Let's go back. You can see the needle slightly off-center. You can see the reverse side of the needle pointing in our direction is as well. So bearing is, excuse me, heading 59. That is our heading. And the bearing is negative 180, which means we are actually dead on course. So if we go back to, that means we should be dead on course. If we go back to Plan G, actually no, we're not dead on course. We should be on course. Now we're coming close to Gloucester though. We're coming close to the range of Gloucester. Let's go back and change that over. We should see this needle flick round quite soon now, and I'm going to say, I'm going to predict that the needle flicks slightly to the left of our current heading. So it's going to be, the needle is going to flick to less than 59 degrees. We're just going to have to wait for that to come in. And while we know it's going to do that, let's just adjust our heading, say to 5.5. Let's fly heading 5.5 degrees. Okay, now that heading's come in. Let's go back to that needle. And yes, it has. It's flicked slightly. Yep, and it's kind of, it's warping left and right, so it's kind of getting its bearings, and it's actually roughly, we turned 5.5, so let's actually put 5.5 back in. Okay, so at 5.5 it's roughly negative 1 to 3 of our track, which means that we're now heading in roughly the right direction. But the thing is we're that's always telling us exactly where that NDB is in relation to us. That's not telling us if we're on a direct line between 2 points. We have to work that out by flying back towards our imaginary line, or our imaginary radial, and then readjusting this card, and then when we readjust it, it should say we are heading directly to the NDB on a course of 5.9, not on our current course of 5.2. So it's kind of like using radials, but it's not. It's adding an extra level of error into the game. See, I can just come onto Plan G and I can go, oh yeah, I can clearly see I'm left of track. Oh, sorry, right of track. The track is to the left of me. And my needles also say the same thing. But it's quite hard to actually say, yes, we're this much out of track, which is why GPS is so nice. It's a bit of a cheat, because you know exactly where you are. But this is what the ADF needle is for. This is how it would be used. See, -1. So we're still tracking. So we're tracking towards the NDB now. But what we want to do, you see how we then want to continue on this course until that needle goes to the right of us to see 52 987. We need that needle to be saying bearing +7, and then we turn back onto our 5.9 course, and that's how we know we're back on course. I wish I could kind of show you more visually how I'm making that work in my brain, but So basically, let's just see. Okay, -3. It's because we're getting closer to it, it's becoming more sensitive. That's not a bad. Let's just go 5-0 now. So going 5-0. So having this yellow needle. This yellow needle is a primary ADF. That's what I call it, at least. That is our true course. That is our course from Gloucester. So imagine Gloucester is at the end of this end of the needle, and imagine Cardiff is at the end of the needle, and Gloucester is at the beginning of the needle, and we're trying to get to Gloucester, and our current heading is slightly offset. So we're coming back to attack this course, this direct line in between the two, and we have to wait until our NDB needle swings to the right to match up with that course. And once our NDB needle is matched up with that yellow line, that course we want to get onto, we know we're on that line, and then we can turn back to it. But we're getting so close to it now. We're getting what, 9 nautical miles away. Okay, so now we're getting close to that. Let's bring in Daventry. Daventry is 116.4. So let's go. (116.4) like so, and that's going to give us a radial. That should give us a radial on the nav 1. Well, that should be. Oh no, it'll probably give us it's going to give us a reading on the HSI needle as soon as we flick over to it, though. And I'm going to flick that back to frequency instead of DME function. So yeah, let's just pop outside the aircraft now. We've got the moon in the background. Very nice. And we've got... yeah, we basically can't see anything because it's nighttime. Hooray. Let's just look up there. But it does look very beautiful in the nighttime because you've got the cloud cover, and the cloud cover obscures the towns and cities and roads and stuff, so that looks good. Still holding 6,000 feet, very good. Manifold pressure is slightly down. I might just whack in a little bit of carburetor heat again to heat up that carburetor. We are still at 8 Celsius, so we're still well above freezing. But I found this before, and I was discussing this with some friends on my previous live stream video to this video now, about the effect of differing pressure and how differing pressure affects temperature. And with a suction, with a suction and with lower pressure at the manifold, with lower pressure there's colder temperature, and that might be cold enough to get it down to the point where it's actually causing ice on the carburetor. Which, if we're flying through moist conditions, which it looks like we are, we could be forming ice long before we think we actually are, and that is actually reflected in the manifold pressure. If the manifold pressure is strangely low, which it was when we first took off, and we're climbing up to 6,000 through the clouds, we had to burn off that ice with the carburetor heat. Now I've had that on for a while. You do, if you put it on 100, you literally only need it on for like 5-10 seconds, and then you put it back to 0. It works very quickly and effectively. Okay, so you can see our NDB is gradually swinging around. That means that we are passing our point, and if we go to plan G, that's being confirmed. We're passing the point on the left hand side, and now we're going to lay in our new course of 069 to Daventry. So let's lay in 069 like so, and then flick over, flick that back to frequency, and then go bam, 16.4. And yes, as I predicted, that is now going to give us an actual radial to follow now, and we're almost on that radial, as you can see. if I just move down to the HSI needle. Oh, a little bit of lag there. I don't get too much lag these days in P3D version 4.1, which I'm very thankful for, but every now and then it does happen when things load in. Right, okay, so we're almost on that radial now. I'm going to give it another couple minutes, half a minute or so. As you can see, we've got a tailwind, which is affecting us slightly, but while we're at it, let's just go check the scope. Let's have a look at what's going on. And yes, he came off, London Control came offline, but that's okay. We are inbound to Cambridge. And we've got Essex Approach and London Heathrow. Essex Approach is always a nice place to be. I could pretend to have, I don't know, some issue and go and divert to Stansted, which would be fun. Okay, so that radial is pretty much in now. So let's turn our heading right to, it's 069, but I'm going to bring up the heading to 067 because I know there's a crosswind that's slightly on the left-hand side. It's going to give me a slight crosswind effect. So I'm going to try and compensate for that early. So there we have our new course set, and now that our new course is set and we're tracking a radial, we can afford to concentrate on other things slightly more than normal. Let's just see what the NDB range is for Cambridge, and it's better than the Gloucester NDB. So we don't have far to go until we pick that up. We've turned onto our new course. As you can see, we're still slightly to the right-hand side of the track, but you can't see that too much from this radial. There's actually a slight discrepancy between exactly the radial that you're on, as displayed in the sim, and what Plan G shows you. So I don't go 100% off exactly where Plan G is telling me I am. And where the radial is supposed to be. Excuse me. Because if you see, if I'm going from Gloucester to Daventry at a heading of 069, you would expect the 069 radial to be that black line, right? But if you right-click on the radial, on the VOR, and go show radial, and go 069, and go inbound, and say 20 nautical miles, and hit OK, it's actually not, look, if you can see that's right there, it's not actually on the black line. It's off. It's kind of coming off slightly on an angle. So what did I just do? There we go. Yeah, but you can still see there is a little discrepancy there on the needle. So I'm just going to pull our heading up a couple more notches just so that we don't fly off that radial too quickly. Manifold pressure still looks good. Yep, everything else looks pretty good. Cruising nicely. Yeah. So we're pretty much there now. I can see we're going through a little bit of cloud. It flies past the window. Okay, so let me see. We've got. Let's just turn this knob around. There we go. 29.4 nautical miles to Daventry. So that is our range meter. So you basically, whenever in the Comanche you want to see the NDB distance, there's not like a separate Bendix King radio stack for that. It's all built into the common, the nav1 and com1 stack here, and it's just this thing here. You flick from displaying the frequency normally, which is this one here. That's what you normally see. DST is for distance, so it's if you want to display the distance. Glide slope is when we get to Cambridge, which I'll use later on, and it's a bit tricky. Oh, you can actually twiddle the middle mouse button. That's much easier. So that's showing us that. And actually you can see we're coming off the radial even more now, so it's just even more drastically turn to the left so that we continue to try and track that properly. Yeah, it's maybe the wind component is strengthened against us. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. But as you know, it's a pretty well accepted rule that the closer you get to a VOR, the more accurate the reading is. So as we just get closer and closer, the needles will change slightly over time because of that. Okay, so now that we're tracking inbound, let's have a look at the last frequency for Cambridge, which is 332.5. And the thing about some aircraft in the sim don't model the decimal point and what's after the decimal for NDBs. So when I'm in Plan G and I'm flying here, all I need to do is I need to right click on the NDB and go set NDB frequency on ADF radio, click that, and when I go back to the sim, you see it's been updated in the standby of the ADF, and all I have to do is just flick that over, and it says 332, but it is actually 332.5. It's just that's what it's actually set as, but the aircraft just doesn't display that decimal point. But there's no way of you to manually set the decimal point in the aircraft, which is a bit weird, but it's just one of those things you learn when flying aircraft like this. I'm probably talking and making absolutely no sense to you guys, but you know, that's quite normal. If I'm making no sense to you guys, don't worry about it. It's normal. It's the way it's supposed to be. So cruising quite nicely, 141 knots airspeed. If we look at our ground speed's actually 178, so we're actually flying along here. And we're pretty much bang on that radial now, which is good to see. Let's see if there are any other aircraft in the general vicinity. No, there's not actually, except for there's a DHL, that's Lufthansa aircraft. Yeah, I thought there was going to be more ATC today, folks, but unfortunately there isn't. We just managed to get Cardiff ATC before he shut down, or no, before I left, and then London Control, excuse me. London Control went offline, unfortunately, but there we are. We might actually just be cheeky and listen in on Stansted approach, or Stansted radar. Essex radar it is, that's its official name. Let's just listen in to Essex radar as we get close to Cambridge, just in case. I mean, I don't plan on having a reason to divert to Stansted, but if we were to divert, I suppose it's hard to divert for an engine failure, because because you would literally just have to glide to the ground. You wouldn't dare think about gliding all the way to Stansted, but I suppose you could say, I don't know. There's no reason that I couldn't land at Cambridge. There's no reason that I would actually fly further just to land at the same kind of aircraft. There's be no valid reason for me to do that. If I had any problem, I would just land at Cambridge, or like Bourne, or let's see, where is let's see, Cranfield, Luton, Falmere, Duxford. Where is Old Warden? I thought it was down. I think it's probably further south. Yeah, it's probably down here. Holton, somewhere down there. Anyway, enough of that. Okay, so we're bang on the radio now. So let's just bring the heading back ever so slightly so that we just settle onto that. So we don't continue attacking that. Excuse me. So that we don't continue attacking that and go through it. This is another navigation app, by the way, that I haven't really used on the channel yet, but I sometimes use for very like long, ultra long haul flights. This is a little nav map, and it's basically the same thing as Plan G, but it's just done in a different way. It is freeware. Nice thing I like about little nav map is that when you move out, when you zoom out, you can actually physically see the whole globe as it actually is. And when you zoom back in again, like with Plan G, because it's completely flat, it's all flat based. As you go across the Atlantic and stuff, your heading isn't actually correct to your true heading on the globe. It's just a bit weird. It's one of those things to do with flying across a map that's flat, but you're actually flying across a globe. So anyway, I said I was going to actually pause the video in the cruise, but then the cruise is ending up to be so small. Like literally, we've only got, I don't know, that's 40 nautical miles, and we're going 180 knots in the cruise. So we're not really going to have that much of a cruise. We might as well just stay alive. So let's just continue. So let's go back to the aircraft. 7.7 nautical miles to Daventry and closing. Slightly over the radial now. I'm being really nitpicky here just because I can. And then as soon as we take our new heading, so our new heading is going to be 091. So if we just put, no, let's just leave that there. Let's just know that for when we cross over. Excuse me, I'm yawning all the time. It's been a long week. Yeah, folks, so I am still doing streaming fairly regularly, so feel free to join in on one of my live streams. I don't live stream on Twitch, I live stream on YouTube, just because I feel like there's more of a chance that people would come and watch me on YouTube than there are at Twitch. On Twitch at the moment, more people are subscribed to me on YouTube and would get the annotated message. So potentially, please feel free to come and join me on live streams, or message me when you want to know when the next one is, because I don't do it regularly at the moment. My website is still up, www.mantalkproductions.com. Please go and have a look at that. Have a look at my artwork up there I've got for sale, and I'm also starting some t-shirt design. I've got a lot of ideas for different style t-shirts that are kind of to do with aviation, aviation-related t-shirts, funny jokes and stuff, and illustrations, kind of basically ATC and aviational memes on t-shirts. So I'm designing a kind of a range of t-shirts, and they should be up on my website fairly soon on a dedicated merchandise page. So there's that. So yeah, okay, so you can see the radials now coming out quite quickly. It's because we're passing over the NDB, or the VOR. So now 069, let's go track 06, oh, excuse me. No, it was 091. What was I saying? There's 091, and let's set heading 091. And let's set heading 091 in our ADF heading selector as well. Getting ready for when we pick up that frequency from Cambridge, like so. And then we will track outbound from the VOR. We don't need to change that. We could just continue to watch that outbound because we know that the distance between Daventry and Cambridge is 47.4 nautical miles. We basically just subtract this growing number from 47.7, and then we know exactly how many miles we are away from Cambridge. So 47.4, my correction, my bad. Yeah, so it's all maths. It makes sense. It's logical. So should be getting that ADF frequency fairly soon. I'll give it another 5 miles. And then in about 15 nautical miles away I'll begin descending. Actually, yeah, so why not I make a break in the video now, and then you guys can come back at the top of descent. So I will see you guys at top of descent. Okay folks, welcome back. We are roughly 20 nautical miles out from Cambridge now, and little update, I was trying to get the Cambridge NDB to show up on the ADF, but it just wasn't having it, and apparently it's not receiving properly, despite the fact that I double checked the frequency a couple times. So but no matter, because we're actually tracking outbound from Daventry still anyway, so we know that we're on course properly. You can see the ADF, or sorry, the HSI needle there is still correctly tracking outbound from Daventry, and we're still showing the distance of the DME of Daventry VOR at 28 nautical miles. So 28 nautical miles will grow up to 47.4, and when we are at 47.4 we'll know we're directly overhead Cambridge. So if I just go and look at the map here, you can see we're just at overhead St Neots right now. St Neots is a nice place. Not been there too often. I've been up to Huntingdon a couple of times, been down to St Neots. St Ives is a very nice place, but anyway, one day we'll have to, in summer, do some really nice VFR flying around and look at some of the local places that England has to offer. In the Piper Cub, the A2A Piper Cub that will be released for Prepared 3D version 4 sometime soon. Thank you A2A Simulations in advance. Yay! Right, so let's begin thinking about descending. So we're going to have to descend 3,000 feet. So let's pull out the autopilot, disengage the altitude, and let's just pull the throttle back slightly. And that should decrease our airspeed, which in turn decreases the lift that the wings are providing, which in turn makes us descend. So actually pulling the power back causes us to descend. So at 1,000 feet per minute descent rate, we've got roughly 3 minutes till we hit 3,000 feet. 3,000 feet is the end of the ILS, so we'll level out at 3,000 and then we'll do some heading turns to get onto that. So the ILS is 111.3, so let's just put that in standby. 111.3, like so. And the localizer of the Cambridge runway is 232. It's runway 23 and it's heading localizer heading 232. So we'll sort that out when we get there. But let's just continue descending until we hit 3,000 or 47.4, whichever comes first. And for some reason we started to climb again, despite the fact that we pulled the power out. That's a bit weird. Let's just put the propellers up to max, and let's just control that rate of descent. Okay, there we go. Coming down through 5,500, and EGSC traffic. Descending from 6,000 feet, expecting ILS 23. Not that anyone's actually going in or outbound of Cambridge at this time of the day on VATSIM anyway, but just pays to make a bit of Unicom chatter. Yeah. Oh, actually no, we have tower. Oh, Max, you star. You utter star. I have an ATC controller. He saw me online. Okay, 125.9. That's what a star. Everyone watching this video, give Max Beckett a hand. Thank you. Give him a Give him a thumbs up in chat. 125.9. Oh no, wrong one, sorry. This is the first time I will have VATSIM ATC online at Cambridge. My home airfield. Ah. Right. Let's just not be too much of a geek now. And you can see the Milky Way galaxy just there. On an angle. Yeah. Please contact me, Tower 125.9. Cambridge Tower Golf. Stand by. I just forgot the full. Cambridge Tower Golf Kilo Sierra Victor Bravo with you, descending through 4,000 feet, requesting ILS 23. Don't really request the ILS.
Victor Bravo, Roger. You can make that request with Essex Radar 120.625. It's information Alpha, the Cambridge KH1030. Speak to you in a bit.
Over to Essex Radar. Thank you very much. We'll speak to you in a bit. Golf Victor Bravo. I thought he said... So I need to go over to... Okay. Essex Radar 120.62. Let's do it.
Inspection for now, straight to 2 out services, score 7412. 7416, on the box coming down. Alex, 7412.
Okay, let's just make our call.
7410, Alex 96. Alex 96, 7412.
Okay, so let's just... There we go. Let's just set the aircraft up before we talk to Essex 232. We almost don't really need to... Essex Radar, Golf Kilo Sierra Victor Bravo with you, 3,000 feet overhead Cambridge. Just calling in because I'm in your airspace.
Golf Kilo Sierra Victor Bravo, Essex Radar, Roger, basic service.
Basic service, Golf Victor Bravo, thanks. So basically at this point, let's just... Yeah, I wasn't watching my altitude here while I was talking. I'm just going to increase my speed at the moment. Okay, so... I'm just going to... Just autopilot disconnect the whole thing. Right, so at this point we're going manual. Yes, you heard it from me. So what we will do is we will literally just ask for frequency change when we...
Right now, 1 minute, I'm just pushing back in the ram off back in behind, I don't know what he's doing. But...
We'll just ask for a frequency change whenever we
he will be taxiing to his stands. I mean,
are ready to join the ILS.
It's Christmas, maybe friends will come and give you aircraft repair kit or something. Roger, right now, we're still late.
But then the tower controller Max said, please contact me quite early, which I did, but then he handed me, it sounded like he handed me over to Essex Radar, so yeah. Maybe he did that just so that he wanted to make me aware that I was going to talk to him. Maybe he thought I was just going to fly in and just completely miss the fact that he was there in the first place. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, okay, so basically what we're doing is we're flying 180 degrees away from the runway, and we're waiting until our glide slope comes up and comes above us, which means that we can then turn to the right and track the localizer,
on the block, and 5G right.
and then track the glide slope down to the runway.
167, thanks for flying.
Thank you very much for your DC service, and Merry Christmas to you too. Thank you. Bye. 167.
Bye.
Okay, glide slope is coming up. And while I'm about it, might as well just write down my full call sign, because that gets stuck in my throat every time I try and call my own call sign. And I'm not fully trimmed out, as you can see, because as soon as I let go of the joystick to write that down, the plane dropped slightly. It's just... Sometimes it's just easier to do all of this in real life, I tell you. Okay, quite soon I'm going to make that right-hand turn, but I'm first going to call and ask for frequency change. Essex Radar Golf Kilo Sierra Victor Bravo requesting frequency change to Cambridge.
Kilo Victor Bravo Cambridge Tower is on where I can find them. 125.9. Have a lovely Christmas. Goodbye.
Have a good Christmas as well to you, and thank you very much. Good evening, Golf Victor Bravo.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so we're now on... Right, so let's make our right-hand turn and let's start slowing down. Let's do a 30-degree bank turn, because this is quite a... And let's do a turn where we don't lose altitude in the turn. Thank you. .30-degree bank turn. Hold it, hold it, hold it, with no outside reference. Come on. You should be able to do this. There we go. That's a bit of a hefty turn, but 30 degrees isn't a crazy angle, especially for an aircraft like this, with no paying passengers in the back. And let's just not drop too far there. And now we are going to do an opposite left 30-degree bank so that we attack that localizer. And that is almost 10 nautical miles. So Cambridge Tower Golf Kilo Sierra Victor Bravo with you established 23 left on the ILS, 9.8 nautical miles.
Golf Kilo Sierra Victor Bravo, Cambridge Tower, good. Correction, good evening, runway 23 up to land the first 23 degrees 9 knot.
Clear to land runway 23 Golf Victor Bravo, thanks. Okay. Let's just... You can see the crosswind. See, I'm trying to hold that localizer and also hold my stupid altitude in the pitch black darkness. There's my localizer. There you go. Where have you been all my life? Okay, now I'm tracking off it, so I've got to turn into it. And also watch my glide slope. Glide slope's coming in. Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, glide slope is coming down, and I'm almost off. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Could have given you vectors for the ILS, you know. Yeah, sorry, mate. Oh my word. Right, okay, now I've got some sort of visual reference. Yeah, sorry mate. Well, Max, you'll watch on the video afterwards, but I just went straight from, yeah, I just went straight from Essex approach to, to you, so, I could see the ILS pretty much bang on anyway. Okay, now that we're pretty much settled, let's just see EGSC. Let's just go to the taxi chart there. Seeing as it's Christmas, I'm sorry. Oh, I know what we're going to do. We're going to throw a missed approach at him. That's what we're going to do. Because it's Christmas. That's what we're going to do. Now that we've come down through the cloud layer, the aircraft's a lot more stable. At least it feels a lot more stable. I need to start thinking about slowing down now. Essex Santa Claus radar for nothing. Right. Okay, let's just pay attention to my speed and my glide slope. So we've got mixture is rich, prop is full forward. Let's just get my landing lights on as well. Landing lights are on. Fuel pump has always been on, but that's no huge deal. It's quite a short flight. And let's not sink below the glide slope there. Cambridge Tower, Golf Victor Bravo, can I have a wind check, please?
Golf Victor Bravo, no problem, status in 230 degrees, 9 knots.
230 at 9, thanks very much, Golf Victor Bravo. Okay, 230 at 9, so it's actually bang ahead of us, so that's not too much of a problem. But what we are going to do is we are going to do a standard missed approach. I'm going to bring the speed back now. I'm going to bring the speed back, bring in flaps and gear, and we're going to go all the way down to minimums. Minimum's going to be 200 feet, of course. And as I pull the power back, I can really feel I need to maintain the nose by pulling back on the gear on the stick now. First notch of flaps. And gear coming down. Second stage flaps, and that should be all we need for this point, for this stage. And we're going to glide over the A14 quite soon. I'm very familiar with this this airfield. You can see King's College Chapel up in the top right hand corner of the screen there, off on the horizon. And let's not blow it. Okay, and lovely evening. I like how the weather cleared up for the approach. Okay, coming down. So we are coming down. Minimums in. Oh no, let's not have that now. Minimums in about 10 feet. Okay, going around. Gear up. And flaps going up. Golf Victor Bravo going around. Haha!
Golf Victor Bravo, roger, you can join the report to left downwind runway 23.
Join and report left downwind runway 23, Golf Victor Bravo. Okay, let's climb 3,000 feet again. I don't like that flashing at me. Actually, let's just go to the approach plate. Runway 23 ILS. See what the standard missed approach is. standard missed approach is 3,000. That's fine. I thought so. I thought I didn't bring the gear up. I thought I did. Okay.
Golf Victor Bravo, would you like to request vectoring for an ILS from a 2-3?
That would be lovely, thanks, Golf Victor Bravo. Okay, bring power back.
Roger, Essex radar, stand by, call you back.
Oh, I have to go over to Essex radar now. Yeah. Right. Okay. Okay, I'm going to turn 90 degrees. And there is the weather again. Lovely.
Golf Victor Bravo, that's no problem. You can contact Essex radar 120-625. See you in a bit.
Over to Essex radar, thanks. See you in a bit, Golf Victor Bravo.
Excellent.
Should be at 3,000 feet. Let's get up to 3,000. Essex radar, Golf Victor Bravo, with you again, just out at Cambridge, doing a standard missed approach.
Okay, it's for Essex radar, the deconfliction service.
Deconfliction service, thanks, Golf Victor Bravo. Okay. Whoa! Was that me or was there an updraft there? Maybe that was just me. Okay, never mind. Still flying manually, that's no problem. Just gaining altitude. The air currents feel quite smooth at the moment, so I'm not worrying too much about that. Let's just continue climbing, and let's turn left downwind. Or well, it's not really a standard pattern in IFR, but she's just giving me Essex radar's just giving me a deconfliction service, which is basically just keep out of everyone else's way.
Service Bravo routine to hold before ready to commence the procedure.
Ah, she's giving me route to the hold. Hang on. Essex radar, would it be alright to have vectors back for the ILS?
Service Bravo, Cambridge is an heading of 340 degrees from you, route to Cambridge to hold before ready to commence the procedure.
340. Turning 340 degrees, Golf Victor Bravo. Okay, this is going to be a little bit different than I thought. 340 degrees. And let's go altitude hold while we're about it. At 340 degrees. Okay, yeah, I can see what's going to happen. They're going to give me the standard... right. Yeah, they're going to do standard missed approach, which is... I did kind of put my foot in it. Yeah. Okay. 340 degrees. What would that wind do?
Okay, Service Bravo, just confirm, are you wanting to fly the ILS procedure, or do you just want to go to follow by the track?
Would like to do the ILS procedure for Golf Victor Bravo.
Okay, Service Bravo, Roger, hold Cambridge before ready to commence the procedure.
We'll hold Cambridge. Actually, I am ready to commence procedure. Thanks, Golf Victor Bravo.
Okay, Service Bravo, Roger, report beacon outbound.
We'll report beacon outbound, Golf Victor Bravo. Okay, so they've given me the beacon, which is the NDB 332. Let's just...
696 to left heading at 25.
That's the he's correct, no, please.
Okay.
696 to left heading at 25.
Sorry, was that me? Was that for Golf Victor Bravo?
Traffic runway negative, brake FedEx 96, and left turn 025.
She's saying about someone else. I can't hear exactly what she's saying. I'm going to pretend that I can see that on my... I'm going to pretend that I can see that.
Fix, I heard you just 2 to 5. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, FedEx. It's this...
Left heading 025. Right 6.
Golf Victor Bravo, beacon outbound.
Traffic driver, thank you, report. Everything turn complete.
We'll report turn complete. Okay, now I'm going outbound. Oh.
Traffic driver, you are clear to approach runway 23. She said that earlier, it's fine.
Sorry, Seg. Possibly in the text chat for Golf Victor Bravo. It's really hard to hear what she's saying. I'm so sorry. Alright, I'm going to go outbound. I'm going to do teardrop approach, but it just got completely screwed. But yeah. Should have said this as you left the hold. Cleared ILS approach runway 23. Okay. Thanks, Golf Victor Bravo. Right, okay, so basically it's supposed to look like this, where you go inbound to Cambridge and then you report beacon outbound, which means that you're reporting flying outbound from that beacon on the track to 8 DME, and then you do a left-hand rate 1 turn onto the ILS. That is the standard. You see, the missed approach should have been, I'd go runway heading and then turn directly into the beacon and then outbound on the teardrop back in. That's the standard. But I can't get 332.5 on Cambridge. Look, if I just reset that, I will not be able to get set NDB on ADF radio. And then if I flip that to active, it's not showing. So I don't know what to say. So I'm just going to pretend that I can see it, and I'm just going to view this. So I kind of did do what the standard approach, missed approach, looks like, but this was supposed to be a turn inbound to the DME and then outbound on an angle.
X96 left. X96 left, heading 350 degrees, descends to altitude at 4,000 feet.
Yeah. And,
Altitude of the Stanford feet, X96.
And it's about now that I should turn onto my localizer now. I should make that turn. And let's just bring back my engine noise, because I like that for certain times. There we go. But it just got a bit loud there earlier on. Okay, so she cleared me for the ILS 23, which means that I'm cleared to establish on localizer, and as soon as I'm established on localizer, I'll call her up and she will hand me back over to tower. So yeah, that kind of was a teardrop approach, and that kind of was a turn, an immediate turn. It just wasn't immediate because I was on tower frequency, and then
flight level 130 pretending the ASCII file Oxford.
Runway 198, 3 Essex radar, hello, inspection for nice approach runway 26 at Luton.
Okay.
Runway
198, reduce speed to 240 knots or less.
240 on speed around 193.
Okay, localizer alive. Glide slope alive as well. So this is going to be interesting. As we turn.
X160, do a great day to descend, that's be good, thank you.
go. Okay, autopilot off. Fuel pump is on. Fuel selector desired tanks. Fuel check. Fuel levels are pretty low, but we're going to land as quickly as we can. Essex radar, Golf, Kilo, Sierra Victor Bravo, established ILS 23, Cambridge.
Okay, Cambridge Tower, thank you. Cambridge Tower, 125.9, that's Merry Christmas.
Over to Cambridge Tower, thank you very much, Golf Victor Bravo.
Hey, message.
And I'm definitely not as established as I had wanted to be, but let's get back on there. Cambridge Tower, Golf, Kilo, Sierra Victor Bravo, with you again, established ILS 23.
Golf Kilo Sierra Victor Bravo, Cambridge Tower, again runway 23, clear to land, left at 23 degrees, 9 knots.
Clear to land, runway 23, Golf Victor Bravo. Okay. And... no! Let's not nosedive. Let's not do that. No, 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 no. Right. Left-hand turn. Let's get this bad boy on the ILS. Come on. Trim. Trim. It's because I was ignoring that trim up. That's what it was. Okay. There we go. So that was a bit of an interesting exchange. I kind of threw myself into a procedure there that I wasn't ready for or wasn't planning on doing, but that's at night time on VATSIM with ATC in a place where I'm not used to flying, which is kind of fun. Okay, so we'll wait for the glides. Well, first notch flaps. We're within speed, and gear will come down soon. Gear coming down. I think there's a cloud in between me and the runway because it's kind of hard to see that center line. Second notch of flaps. This area of the country is beautiful in the daylight, by the way. Okay, so okay, reduce speed 120. We have done so. Gear is down. Checked. Gump. Check. There is a gump is a small way of remembering certain things. That's like a small procedure in and of itself. That's in the manual. Gear is down, check. Final at 90 with flaps all the way down. So let's do that when we get there. Okay, descending 100 knots, about 500 feet per 4 to 500 feet per minute, which is correct. We are stabilized very nicely, I might add. Thank you. Yeah. And it gave Essex Radar a little bit of an extra, little bit of out of the ordinary ATC to deal with as well. It's not every day that Essex Radar has to deal with a go around at Cambridge. It's probably very rare. But now I know that it's typical to hand. Now I know that it's very typical to hand off traffic in and out of Cambridge. If they don't have an approach or radar controller at Cambridge, it's typical to hand them off to Essex Approach, which is a good idea. It's no, I can't see out the window terribly well. Have I got my heating? Cockpit heat. Let's just bang up the cockpit heat just for the last bit here. Okay, right. Glide slope's good. Localizer's good. Actually, is that correct? 232, that is correct. It just looks a bit weird. Oh, and there's that customary stutter. Oh yeah, I reset the HSI needle and it correctly looks correct now. Okay, so as I come down, he said 230 degrees at 9 knots, so we've still really got nothing to worry about. Really nice and smooth now that we're in this lower level, and now that I'm fully concentrating out the window, it's just much smoother. Very, very smooth. Beautiful. At the moment, let's just bring my face upwards slightly. And let's just pay attention to those pappies now as we get close. Let's just make sure that we are on the localizer. Okay, two yellow, 2 red. Very good. Just slight trim adjustment there as we slow down. And let's go flaps full, and that's going to change our attitude. So let's just bring some trim in to adjust for that extra flaps, and you can see the speed decrease. And now we'll just glide down to the runway. So this scenery for Cambridge Airfield is part of the UK 2000 GA Airfields pack. So it's not default Orbex global scenery. And this is the first time I've flown into this properly. We'll have to fly out of Cambridge again in the daytime or something. That would be nice. Okay, very nice. 90. Oh, yeah. Okay, we're gonna have another customary freeze. There we go. A little bit high. Let's just bring that down now. We're slow enough. We can descend a bit more drastically like that. Okay. Over the Newmarket Road, into the field, pulling our throttle as we go. Oh! Oh, I'm going to call that and say that was the best landing I've ever done in a simulator. Right there. Flaps up. Okay, so let's find our taxi. Okay, let's just Charlie, I believe, is our turn off. Those blue lights just up there, I think. Yeah. No, I don't want to go there. I believe I can taxi back up on Lima, which is and I've taxied. It's a grass taxiway, but it is right here. I can see it in the dark. Actually, for goodness sake, we physically need to see what's going on. Golf Victor Bravo vacated 2-3 at Mike.
Golf Victor Bravo, thank you. I was trying to call you. You could have backtracked from A2A, but you can taxi via Mike, and you can taxi to row X from aviation parking.
Taxiing via Mike back to the municipal GA parking, Golf Victor Bravo. Municipal? Did I just pull that word out of my backside? And you go up here from here. This is a grass taxiway. I've taxied down this grass strip taxiway in real life in 172 from Cambridge. So I knew it was there in the dark, but I decided that I decided I'd take it at the last minute. It just presented itself to me. Okay, right, and there's Cambridge Aero Club just there on the corner, and Marshall's Aerospace uses this whole place. Let's just cross this.
Golf Bravo, it's just any of the parking rows straight ahead there in the general aviation parking. Thanks for flying Cambridge, and have a very Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much for ATC, and yeah, you too. Thank you. Good evening, Golf Victor Bravo. Okay, so it's this area just here with these rows, and there's usually, if you just pull around here, you can park your aircraft. It was just about right here where I parked in real life. So with that's that building in front of me there. So let's just put on the parking brake, which I believe is, what the crap is that? Where's the parking brake? I forgot where the parking brake is. That's the emergency landing gear. No, that's no. Anyway, forget that. We have arrived, ladies and gentlemen. We have arrived in Cambridge, in the middle of the pitch black. But of course, I've just changed the time. So yeah, this isn't like the most amazing scenery ever, but again, it's better than default. And you can see all of the grass strip now. You can see the little taxiway markings where aircraft usually taxi. Yeah, I remember taxiing down. I think I took this one here, and then went down parallel to the runway, and then took a left-hand turn onto the runway from there. But anyway, thank you very much, guys, for watching. I won't keep you any longer, and thank you very much to Max Beckett as well, who came online to give me some ATC. So thank you very much, sir. You really made the end of the video for us. So, and I will see you later, folks. So yeah, have a Merry Christmas.